Man, I didn't even see it coming. One second, I was chilling on my couch, coffee in hand, the soft hum of the city creeping through the cracked window, and the next, it felt like someone had dropped a bomb on my life. The silence of my apartment was broken by a jolt that hit me harder than any Monday morning alarm. My own home had turned into a place I barely recognized. Things I'd once taken for granted, space, freedom, even the right to control the thermostat, were gone. I felt like a ghost in my own life. I sank back into the cushions and let my eyes drift over the room I'd meticulously arranged over the past decade. Every corner, every lamp, every stack of books was exactly where I wanted it. The scent of old paper, fresh laundry, and my favorite coffee blend blended into a strangely comforting haze. And yet, I felt the cold, creeping truth. I had been renting out my own sanity to the people I thought I could trust. For years, I'd been compromising, negotiating, apologizing. My peaceful coexistence had been nothing more than a slow bleed. I remembered the first time I'd realized it. Small things at first. A borrowed charger left plugged in, a casual remark about borrowing my snacks, a smirk when I mentioned paying bills. I laughed it off. Who doesn't let a roommate read the fridge? But it snowballed. The coffee mugs I liked disappeared. The playlist I curated hijacked. The sofa, the walls, the damn air itself. I didn't even notice I'd ceded ownership until the first real slap hit. Someone else controlling my life, my space, my comfort. That's when I knew. I started cataloging everything. Not in a paranoid way, but like a soldier preparing for battle. Every expense, every borrowed item, every favor logged in the back of my mind. Every time I let it slide, every time I smiled through irritation, I was signing a silent lease on my own life. And it hit me. I didn't just want my space back. I wanted my dignity. I started small. One weekend, I refused a request to pick someone up, even though my car had become everyone else's Uber. I didn't apologize. I just said, silently, not today. I felt my pulse quicken with a weird mix of fear and adrenaline. That's when it hit me that reclaiming myself wouldn't be gentle. It would be precise, cold, deliberate. I made a plan, scribbled in a notebook I'd bought specifically for this purpose. Step 1, identify what's mine. Step 2, establish boundaries. Step 3, execute with zero hesitation. No speeches, no yelling, no guilt trips, just facts, logs, documents, and actions. Every step a piece of armor against the chaos I'd been living under. I noticed the shift immediately. People began noticing. My presence wasn't just a background fixture anymore. It carried weight. The air in my apartment changed when I walked in. I carried myself differently. Not proud, not showy, just aware. Awareness is power, subtle but undeniable. Then came the first real test. Someone tried to guilt me over a minor favor. I said no, not a weak, apologetic no, a firm, silent no. They froze. It was almost comedic, the realization hitting their faces that I was no longer a passive participant in their lives. That instant, I felt like I'd turned on a light in a dark room. Everything that had been hidden in the shadows of compromise was suddenly exposed. It wasn't pretty. Reclaiming space and respect always comes with friction. Old habits die hard. They tried to push, to cajole, to manipulate. I didn't budge. I'd built a fortress, not with walls, but with rules, with clarity, with the cold understanding that being passive had cost me too much already. I started documenting everything obsessively. Bills, receipts, notes, screenshots, every proof I could gather of my contributions, my investments, and my patience. Not because I wanted to prove them wrong, but because I needed proof for myself. I needed tangible confirmation that my life was mine, not just in theory, but in reality. There's something about seeing it in black and white that hits differently. It's like your own heartbeat written down, undeniable and real. The apartment smelled different too, after the first sweep of self-ownership. Not just cleaner, but charged, like the space itself knew I wasn't going to back down anymore. Every object I touched felt like a reminder. I'm here. I decide. I own. Not in a flashy, look-at-me way, but in the way that a calm tide owns the shore. Inevitable, unstoppable. That night, I didn't just sleep. I planned. I visualized. I imagined the steps I'd take in the coming weeks. Each action was rehearsed in my head like a perfect heist movie, minus the crime, just precision. I imagined how I'd reclaim the living room, the kitchen, the bills, my bank accounts, my routines. Every scenario, every potential confrontation played out in slow motion. I didn't fear the conflicts, I respected them, and that made all the difference. I woke up the next morning with a quiet ferocity I hadn't known existed. It was like someone had poured liquid steel into my veins. I didn't need caffeine. I didn't need pep talks. I needed action, and I had the blueprint. My apartment was a chessboard. Every piece had a role. Every move was deliberate. And the first move? Control the environment. Turn off the things that had been running my life without permission. Phone, internet, smart devices, everything. Not recklessly, not cruelly, but deliberately. Let the disruption be noticed. Let them feel the absence of what they'd taken for granted. It worked faster than I expected. The silence was louder than I imagined. People noticed the absence before they noticed me. And when they did, I wasn't waiting for apologies. I was just me, calm, collected, precise. That's when I realized the truth. No one owns respect. No one grants space. You take it, you defend it, you claim it in ways that leave no room for negotiation. And in that moment, I understood something fundamental. My life was mine, and I had waited far too long to live it fully. By the end of the week, small victories started stacking up. The living room was mine again, not because someone had left, but because I had reclaimed it. The coffee mugs were in the cabinet where I wanted them. The music played at a volume I chose. The air smelled how I wanted it to. Everything small, nothing dramatic, everything powerful. I sat back on my couch, sipping my coffee, and smiled. Not a broad celebratory smile, just the quiet kind that comes when you finally sit in the driver's seat of your own life. The hum of the city outside, the soft glow of the lamp, the calm in my bones, it was addictive. And I realized this was just the beginning. The first domino had fallen. The rest already lined up, waiting for my move. The next week hit like a freight train. Once I claimed the little things, the coffee mugs, the playlist, the thermostat, the real game started. It wasn't just about space anymore. It was about authority, respect, and the subtle power that comes with both. And I was ready to test it. I realized quickly that people resist change more than chaos itself. They like the predictable grind, the comfortable rhythm, even if it's toxic. That's why my first real moves had to sting just enough to break the old patterns without making me look like a villain. Precision, baby. Every action measured, every pause calculated. Step 1, control the narrative. I started keeping notes on every interaction, every casual comment, every favor expected. Nothing dramatic, nothing confrontational, just the facts. And when someone tried to guilt trip me or manipulate me with, "but you promised" energy, I was ready. I pulled up my logs like a lawyer dropping evidence in court. And it worked. They froze, blanked, stumbled. That little hesitation, that's where the power lives. Next step, boundaries. I made a list of things that were non-negotiable. My time, my space, my money, my routines. I didn't announce it. I didn't post it on some dramatic Instagram story. I just acted like it was law. And trust me, people respond to law more than charm. It was brutal at first. A roommate tried to sneak in a friend, one of those just crash for a night types. I told them no. Firm, calm, no apology. They sulked, but they didn't push. Another tried borrowing money without asking. Nope, not today, not ever. I felt this rush, like I was flipping switches in a dark room, watching the lights turn on one by one. The weirdest part? The more I stood firm, the more my own confidence snowballed. I walked differently, spoke differently, even breathed differently. My apartment wasn't just a place anymore. It was a stage, and I was the lead. Every small victory was fuel. Every boundary I defended was a trophy. And the best part? The chaos started cleaning itself up. It's funny how quickly people adjust when they realize you're not messing around. The ones who'd walked over me before, suddenly cautious, polite, hesitant. It was like watching wild animals notice a new alpha in the pack. I didn't have to shout or throw a fit, just awareness, calm energy, precise actions. That's enough, always. But of course, nothing worth winning comes easy. Midweek, someone tried a full-blown guilt attack, a text at 3 a.m., the kind that makes your stomach knot. We're family, you can't just... I didn't respond immediately. I stared at the message for 10 minutes, sipping cold coffee, feeling the adrenaline spike. Then I typed one line. No, not happening. Sent. Silence. It was blissful. That single refusal rippled through my little ecosystem. Suddenly, I realized every time I said no, I was teaching people how to treat me. Every step deliberate, every refusal an invisible brick in the fortress I was building. And trust me, it felt good. Not loud, not flashy, just pure power in the quiet. By the weekend, I had momentum. I started tackling bigger things: the living room, the kitchen, the bills, the calendar. Anything that had been hijacked, I reclaimed. The TV schedule was mine. The Wi-Fi password, reset. The Spotify account, mine. Every small control point I'd ignored in the past became a battlefield, and I was winning without breaking a sweat. Here's the kicker. Once people realize you aren't playing by their rules, they panic. I noticed subtle shifts, avoiding eye contact, more polite phrasing, even flinches when I walked into a room. And the funny thing, I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The shift was obvious without me saying a word. I started feeling this weird clarity, this almost scary sense of control. It's addictive. You reclaim one thing, and suddenly your brain starts scanning the rest of your life like a radar. Every space, every habit, every tiny surrender you've allowed gets flagged. And the dominoes, they're all lined up, just waiting for your hand. Then came the first real confrontation. It wasn't loud, wasn't messy, but it was inevitable. Someone challenged me over a minor decision, thinking I'd fold. I didn't. Not even a twitch. I calmly outlined the facts, my contributions, my rules. No emotions, just logic. And here's the crazy part. They listened. They didn't have a choice. My confidence didn't demand respect. It earned it. And from that moment on, everything escalated. Small victories started stacking faster than I could even track. By midweek, the apartment felt different, charged, electric. Even the air seemed sharper, like it was tuned to my rhythm. I noticed things I'd ignored for years: the way light fell on the counter, the creak of the floorboards, the smell of fresh laundry. It was mine, all mine. And the best part, I hadn't had to fight violently, yell, or beg. Just clarity, consistency, and a refusal to bend. Money became a subtle weapon too. I tracked every dime, every expense. No more being the default payer for shared items. No more silent sacrifices. I realized I'd been giving value away for free, and now I wasn't. I didn't hoard greedily, but I refused to subsidize laziness. People noticed. They adjusted. Slowly, painfully, they adjusted. By the weekend, I had momentum like a train. The apartment was a fortress, the calendar was mine, the rules were mine, the vibe was mine. Every small action reinforced the larger truth. I had reclaimed my life one tiny battlefield at a time. And here's the thing, reclaiming control isn't about being cool. It's about consistency, visibility, and refusing to apologize for existing on your own terms. And then it hit me. The real power wasn't the stuff. It wasn't the mugs, the playlists, or even the thermostat. It was me, the person I'd been letting fade into the background for years. That person, back, sharp, dangerous, calm, unapologetic. I remember sitting on my couch late Sunday night, staring at the ceiling and realizing something terrifying. Exhilarating at the same time. I could do this anywhere, any job, any friendship, any space, any environment. I had learned the mechanics of quiet dominance, subtle authority, and unshakable self-respect. It was a skill, a weapon, a shield, and I had it, fully. That night, I didn't just sleep. I planned. Bigger moves, bolder steps. I wasn't done. Far from it. Every domino that had fallen revealed a few more that were waiting, whispering, "Go ahead, try." And I was ready. Every no, every boundary, every subtle act of power had prepared me for the next round. The stakes were higher, the players smarter, the moves more precise, but I was ready. And honestly, it felt amazing. By Monday, I realized control isn't just about boundaries, it's about momentum. Every small victory, every no, every subtle flex of my space had turned into a ripple, and the ripples were colliding, growing into a wave I couldn't ignore. But waves don't just roll, they crash, and I was about to hit the rocks. I started noticing resistance in ways I hadn't anticipated. People who had seemed passive suddenly tested the limits. A friend tried to borrow a favor I'd previously allowed, expecting me to cave. A coworker sent cryptic messages, trying to guilt trip me. Even the thermostat rebelled. Literally one night the heat went out, as if the universe was mocking my newfound control. It annoyed me, but I didn't react. That's the trap most fall into. React too fast, over-explain, lose momentum. I paused, breathed, and let the chaos speak for itself. Every challenge became a chess piece. Every test of my resolve was another domino I could line up, another victory waiting to be claimed. I doubled down. I made everything I valued visible. My schedule, my space, my energy. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I acted as if my boundaries were invisible laws of nature, and the effect? Explosive. People noticed. They adapted, slowly at first, then more quickly, and each time my confidence snowballed, almost dangerously so. I felt untouchable, like a ghost slipping through the cracks of everyone else's expectations. Money became tactical. I stopped subsidizing anyone. No more silent sacrifices. Every dollar I saved or spent was a statement. This is mine, and I decide how it moves. That alone shifted dynamics. The ones used to freeloading? Frantic. They had relied on invisible hands, and suddenly those hands were gone. The scramble was silent, awkward, palpable. And yet, with every step forward, I realized real power wasn't about what I claimed, it was about influence. The subtle energy I projected, the unshakable calm, the quiet refusal to compromise. That's what truly moved people. Objects and money were just signals. The real prize? Respect, fear, and obedience disguised as civility. Then came the moment of ultimate test. One evening, a familiar pattern tried to creep in, someone pushing boundaries, questioning my authority, trying to stir doubt. I caught them early, stopped them mid-step, but instead of confrontation, I did something new. I demonstrated capability. I acted decisively, with confidence so absolute it left them speechless. And that's when I felt it, the apex of control. It wasn't loud. There was no drama, no one shouted, no fights, no threats, just a room realigned, subtly, almost imperceptibly to my rhythm. I could feel it in the air. The apartment, the space, the people, it all responded to me now. Every object, every habit, every expectation bent to the reality I had created. And the most incredible part, I didn't have to break anyone. I just became undeniable. By the next morning, the final dominoes fell. I realized the totality of what I'd built, a fortress not of bricks, but of presence, influence, and relentless clarity. No more chaos, no more compromises I didn't choose. My space, my energy, my life. It all moved with me now, and nothing could undo it. And the final lesson hit me like lightning. Power isn't loud. It's not in fights or yelling or proving yourself. Real power, it's quiet, invisible. It flows through consistency, boundaries, and the audacity to refuse compromise. Once you master that, even chaos bends, even resistance becomes predictable, even the world, in small pockets, obeys. Sitting back on the couch, looking around at everything I had reclaimed, I laughed softly, not because I was proud in a boastful way, but because I understood the game now. The stakes, the players, the rules, they were clear, and I was untouchable within my domain. The apartment wasn't just mine. My mind wasn't just mine. My time, my energy, my respect, it was all under my control, and I knew deep down that this was just the beginning. Every space I inhabit, every interaction I engage in, every relationship I enter from now on would be filtered through the lens of this lesson. I would never surrender silently again. I would never let invisible boundaries slip through my fingers. I had tasted the apex and there was no turning back. And that right there was the ultimate victory. Not the stuff, not the money, not even the small wins. It was me, reclaimed, rebuilt, unapologetic, and ready for whatever dominoes waited next. Because once you understand the mechanics of control, once you see the invisible threads in motion, once you master the quiet authority, the world shifts. And when it shifts, man, it's addictive.